Ladies and gentlemen, we all want to be great. We all want to be remembered. But the truth is, legends aren't born, they are made. And they are forged in pain. Pain is the one thing we all fear, the one thing we all try to avoid. But pain is the gateway to transformation. It is the fire that burns away weakness and reveals the unbreakable spirit within us. No one becomes great by staying comfortable. Think of the greatest warriors, athletes, and leaders this world has ever seen. None of them had an easy path. They were broken, beaten, doubted, and left alone in the dark. But instead of running from it, they embraced it. They let pain teach them, harden them, and elevate them. David Goggins, one of the toughest men to ever walk this earth, wasn't gifted with talent. He was broken, abused, overweight, and filled with self-doubt. But he chose to suffer. He chose to go beyond his limits. And through that pain, he built an unstoppable mindset, one that turned him into a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathon runner, and a legend of mental toughness. You see, pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. Every time you push through, every time you refuse to give up, you add another brick to the foundation of your legacy. You may be struggling right now. Pain is the ultimate teacher. It is life's way of testing us, shaping us, and forcing us to grow beyond who we are today. Most people fear pain. They see it as an enemy, something to be avoided at all costs. But the truth is, pain is the key to transformation. It is the fire that forges greatness. Without struggle, without hardship, without suffering, there is no progress. Look at the most successful people in the world, athletes, warriors, entrepreneurs, leaders. None of them got there without experiencing pain. Whether it was physical pain, emotional suffering, or mental battles, they all had to endure. But instead of running from it, they leaned into it. They understood that pain is a necessary ingredient in the formula for success. Pain teaches discipline. It forces you to make choices that others won't. When you're tired, when your body aches, when your mind tells you to quit, pain is there to see if you have what it takes to keep going. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who push through when everything inside them is screaming to stop. They understand that suffering is temporary, but the rewards of enduring that suffering last forever. Most people avoid pain because they don't see its purpose. They think pain is just suffering for the sake of suffering. But pain has a lesson hidden within it, and those who embrace it become stronger. Every time you go through hardship, you learn something about yourself. You learn what you're capable, what your weaknesses are, and what you need to improve. Pain is honest, it doesn't lie. It exposes you, but it also gives you the chance to rebuild yourself even stronger. Take David Goggins, for example. He didn't start off as a legend. He was overweight, full of self-doubt, and stuck in a cycle. But he made a choice. He chose to suffer. He chose to wake up early, push his body beyond its limits, and embrace the pain that most people run from. Through that suffering, he discovered his true potential. He became one of the toughest men on the planet, not because he was born that way, but because he allowed pain to mold him into something greater. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It is the silent killer of potential, the barrier that keeps people from achieving the extraordinary. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort, looking for the easiest path, avoiding struggle at all costs. They seek security, convenience, and a life free from hardship. But the truth is, nothing great has ever come from a place of comfort. Growth only happens when you step outside of what feels safe, when you push past your limits, when you willingly put yourself in situations that challenge you. Comfort is addictive. It gives you a false sense of achievement, making you believe that you're doing enough, when in reality, you're standing still. It whispers in your ear, telling you to take a break, to relax, to stay where it's easy. And once you give into it, it becomes harder and harder to break free. The more comfortable you become, the weaker you get. Your drive fades, your hunger disappears, and soon you find yourself wondering why your dreams feel so far away. Think about the greatest athletes, warriors, and leaders throughout history. None of them stayed in their comfort zones. They woke up early, trained harder than anyone else, and did things that others weren't willing to do. They sacrificed their comfort because they understood that ease and greatness cannot coexist. Savings aren't expensive. Good, Joe. They're not bad, but they're not expensive. None of them stayed in their comfort zones. They woke up every day believing. They knew that if they wanted to be the best, they had to suffer. David Goggins is a prime example of this. He could have stayed in his comfort zone, accepting a life of mediocrity. He could have let his past define him, let his struggles break him, but instead he chose to step into discomfort every single day. He ran when his body told him to stop. He pushed himself beyond exhaustion, beyond pain, beyond fear. He refused to let comfort rob him of his potential. And in doing so, he transformed himself from an overweight, insecure man into one of the toughest endurance athletes in the world. The reality is, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. If your workouts don't challenge you, you're not getting stronger. If your job doesn't push you, you're not advancing. If your mind isn't being tested, you're not getting smarter. Growth requires resistance. It demands struggle. It forces you to go beyond what you think is possible. That's why so many people never reach their full potential. Because they are unwilling to endure the discomfort that greatness requires. Most people will tell themselves they want success, but when it comes time to suffer for it, they back down. They make excuses. They choose the easy way out. They say they want to be great, but they refuse to wake up early, to put in extra work, to sacrifice their comfort for something bigger. They expect greatness to come without hardship, but it doesn't work that way. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to be willing to suffer for it. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations over and over again, until discomfort becomes your new norm. You have to wake up before the sun rises, train when you don't feel like it, work when others are resting, and push forward when your mind tells you to quit. The moment you embrace discomfort is the moment you separate yourself from the average. Greatness is not for those who seek comfort. It is for those who are willing to go to war with themselves, to break past their limits, to suffer now so they can reap the rewards later. The choice is yours. You can live a comfortable, mediocre life, or you can embrace the struggle, push through the pain, and become something greater than you ever imagined. But remember this: no legend was ever made in comfort. Mental toughness is built through suffering. It is not something you are born with, nor is it something that magically appears when you need it. It is forged in the fire of adversity, in the moments when everything in you wants to quit, but you keep going anyway. The ability to push through pain, to keep moving forward when your body and mind are screaming for relief, is what separates the strong from the weak. It is what turns ordinary people into legends. Most people never realize their full potential because they give up too soon. The moment they feel discomfort, they stop. The moment things become difficult, they look for a way out. But the truth is, suffering is the only way to build real mental toughness. Every struggle, every hardship, every painful moment is an opportunity to become stronger. Those who embrace suffering, who willingly put themselves through pain, are the ones who develop an unbreakable mindset. David Goggins is living proof of this. He did not start out as a naturally tough person. He was overweight, filled with self-doubt, and stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. But he made a decision to change. And that decision was not to take the easy road, but to embrace the hardest, most painful path he could find. He ran miles upon miles when his body begged him to stop. He pushed through Navy SEAL training after failing multiple times, enduring physical and mental torment that would break most people. He sought out suffering because he knew that through suffering he would become unbreakable. The mind is the most powerful weapon you have. It controls everything: your actions, your emotions, your ability to push through pain. But most people allow their minds to control them instead of the other way around. The moment they feel exhausted, their mind tells them to stop, and they listen. The moment things become uncomfortable, their mind convinces them it's time to quit. And so they never grow. They never break past their limits because they never learn to take control of their own thoughts. Building mental toughness requires you to do things that most people won't. It requires you to seek out the hard things, to deliberately put yourself in situations that test you. You have to train when you don't feel like training. You have to wake up early when your body wants to sleep. You have to keep pushing when everything inside you is telling you to quit. And when you do this over and over again, your mind begins to change. It becomes stronger. It stops looking for the easy way out. It learns that quitting is not an option. Most people wait for motivation to push them forward. But motivation is weak. It fades the moment things get hard. Mental toughness, however, does not rely on motivation. It is built on discipline, on the ability to push forward no matter how you feel. It is the voice inside you that says, I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if I'm hurting. I will not stop. And once you develop that mindset, nothing can break you. The reality is, life is going to test you. There will be moments when you feel like you have nothing left, when pain feels unbearable, when the easy choice is to quit. But it is in these moments that mental toughness is built. The more you push through suffering, the stronger you become. The more you endure, the less fear you have of hardship. Suffering is not the enemy, it is the key to unlocking your full potential. Every time you embrace pain instead of running from it, you are one step closer to becoming unbreakable. And when you reach that point, when your mind is stronger than any obstacle in front of you, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. This is a truth that most people fail to understand. In the moment of struggle, when everything hurts, when exhaustion sets in, and when the mind starts whispering that it's time to stop, quitting seems like the easiest option. It provides instant relief, a way out of suffering. But what most people don't realize is that quitting creates a habit. Every time you give in to pain, every time you surrender to discomfort, you reinforce a mindset of weakness. And while the pain of pushing through is temporary, the regret of quitting can last a lifetime. The human body and mind are capable of far more than we think. Most people never even come close to discovering their full potential because they stop at the first sign of real struggle. They convince themselves that they've reached their limit when in reality, they are only at 40% of what they're truly capable of. David Goggins calls this the 40% rule. The idea that when you think you're done, when you feel like you have nothing left, you've actually only tapped into a fraction of your potential. The difference between those who quit and those who become great is the ability to push beyond that 40%, to tap into the reserves of strength hidden deep inside. The key to overcoming pain is understanding its temporary nature. No matter how intense it feels in the moment, it will pass. Every struggle, every challenge, every moment of suffering is fleeting. But the decision to quit, that lingers. It stays with you. It becomes part of your identity. People who consistently quit when things get tough start to see themselves as quitters. It becomes their default response to difficulty. And the worst part? They carry that habit into every aspect of their lives. Relationships, careers, personal goals. Every time life presents a challenge, they back down because they've trained themselves to believe that quitting is the answer. But those who refuse to quit develop a different mindset. They train themselves to endure. They understand that pain is not the enemy, it is a test. It is life's way of asking, how bad do you want it? The ones who push through, who refuse to let pain dictate their actions, are the ones who achieve greatness. They don't give themselves an out. They don't look for excuses. They accept that suffering is part of the process and they embrace it. Think of an ultra-marathon runner pushing through mile after mile, even when their legs feel like lead and their body begs for rest. Think of a soldier in brutal training, exhausted, sleep-deprived, and aching, but still moving forward. Think of the entrepreneur who faces rejection after rejection, but refuses to give up. The common thread between all of them is resilience, the ability to endure hardship without giving in, and that resilience is only built through pushing past the urge to quit. The next time you find yourself in pain, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally, remind yourself that it won't last forever. The struggle you're experiencing is temporary, but the strength you gain from enduring it will stay with you forever. Quitting may seem like relief in the moment, but in the long run, it is a permanent wound to your potential. So when the pain sets in, when the doubt creeps up, when your mind screams at you to stop, push forward anyway. Because every step you take beyond that breaking point makes you stronger. Every moment of suffering you endure builds resilience. And every time you refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. The pain will fade, but the pride of knowing you never gave up, that lasts forever. Acts of kindness should come from the heart, not from the need for recognition or validation. In today's world, where social media has made it easy to broadcast every good deed, many people feel compelled to showcase their generosity. While there is nothing wrong with inspiring others to do good, constantly exposing your acts of kindness can diminish their sincerity and shift the focus from the impact of the action to personal praise. True generosity is about helping others, not about seeking attention for doing so. When you make a habit of announcing your good deeds, you risk turning kindness into a performance. Instead of helping someone because it is the right thing to do, the motivation becomes about how others will perceive you. This can make your actions seem less genuine, as people may begin to question whether you truly care about helping or if you simply want to be seen as a good person. The purest acts of kindness are those done without the need for external validation, where the only reward is knowing that you made a difference in someone's life. Issue with exposing your generosity is that it can create an imbalance in relationships. When people know about your good deeds, some may start expecting you to always be the giver. They might take advantage of your kindness, assuming that you will always be available to help without appreciation or reciprocity. Others may even feel uncomfortable around you, thinking that your generosity comes with expectations. Instead of fostering genuine connections, overexposing your kindness can make people wary of your intentions. Additionally, constantly talking about your charitable actions can make others feel inadequate. While inspiring generosity in others is valuable, constantly highlighting your own efforts can unintentionally make people feel pressured or ashamed if they are not in a position to give as much. True kindness does not seek to elevate oneself above others. It exists to uplift those in need without making a spectacle of their struggles. There is also a fine line between sharing good deeds for awareness and using them as a tool for self-promotion. Some people justify showcasing their generosity by claiming they are trying to encourage others to do the same. While this can be true, the intention behind sharing matters. If the primary goal is to receive praise, admiration, or social recognition, then the act loses its authenticity. People can often sense when kindness is genuine versus when it is being used for personal gain. Another reason to keep acts of kindness private is to respect the dignity of those you are helping. Not everyone wants to be seen receiving help, and exposing their struggles for the sake of demonstrating your generosity can be humiliating for them. Real kindness respects the privacy of others and ensures that the focus remains on providing support, not on making the giver look good. When you truly care about helping someone, their comfort and well-being should be more important than receiving credit for your actions. This does not mean you should never share stories of kindness or charitable work, but it is important to be mindful of the purpose behind it. If sharing is done with the intention of bringing awareness to a cause and encouraging others to contribute, it can be valuable. However, if the primary goal is personal recognition, then the act loses its deeper meaning. The most powerful kindness is often the kind that goes unnoticed. The gestures that are done simply because they are right, not because they will be acknowledged. In the end, true generosity is not measured by how many people know about it, but by the difference it makes. Helping others should be a personal commitment, not a public display. The most meaningful acts of kindness are those that come from a place of sincerity, done with no expectation of reward or recognition. And when you give quietly, the impact remains pure, and the value of your kindness is felt where it truly matters. Your family problems are deeply personal, and exposing them to others can often do more harm than good. Every family experiences challenges, disagreements, and struggles, but airing these issues in front of others can complicate relationships, invite unnecessary judgment, and create long-term damage. While it may feel comforting to vent about family issues, not everyone who listens has your best interests at heart. Keeping family matters private is not about ignoring problems. It's about handling them in a way that promotes resolution, respect, and unity. When you share your family issues with outsiders, you risk creating a narrative that may not reflect the full reality of a situation. Family dynamics are complex, and every disagreement has multiple perspectives. If you only present your side of the story to friends, colleagues, acquaintances, they may form a biased view of your family. Over time, this can cause others to see your family members in a negative light, even after the problem has been resolved. Relationships heal, but people outside your family may continue to judge based on what you shared, making it harder to move forward. Danger of exposing family problems is that it invites unnecessary interference. When you openly discuss your family conflicts, some people may feel entitled to offer opinions or advice that may not be helpful. Others may spread the information as gossip, turning your personal struggles into a topic of discussion. In some cases, people may even use what you share against you, exploiting family issues to manipulate or control you. The more people know about your struggles, the more opportunities there are for misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and harmful influence. Exposing family conflicts can also strain relationships within your household. If your family members find out that you've shared personal matters with outsiders, they may feel betrayed. Trust within the family is essential, and when one member discusses private issues publicly, it can create resentment and deepen conflicts. Family problems are best addressed within the family or with a trusted professional who can provide guidance without judgment. Constantly talking about family issues can reinforce negativity. The more you focus on the problems, the more they consume your thoughts, making it harder to see solutions. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, working towards resolution privately can be more productive. Families grow stronger when they handle challenges together without the influence of external opinions that may not fully understand the complexities of the relationships involved. There are times when seeking outside help is necessary, such as consulting a therapist, mediator, or a close, trusted friend. However, this should be done with discretion. and with people who genuinely want to help, not just listen for the sake of curiosity. A professional can offer guidance without judgment, helping you navigate difficult family situations with clarity and respect. Family issues should not be a source of public entertainment or gossip. Sharing too much can damage reputations, break trust, and create unnecessary divisions. Every family has its struggles, but what matters most is how those struggles are handled. Keeping family matters private allows for healthier discussions, better problem solving, and stronger relationships. Family is one of the most important aspects of life, and protecting its integrity is essential. Conflicts are inevitable, but they should be handled with maturity, respect, and discretion. Instead of seeking external validation or sympathy, focus on strengthening the bonds within your family. Privacy allows for growth, healing, and a deeper understanding of one another, ensuring that family remains a source of support rather than public scrutiny.